6th of December, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos, and you can record now. I mean, you can share now.
Okay. Very good. Okay, here we are. Yeah, very good. Yeah, we're at the bottom. We'll start this bottom paragraph again on the second page. I'll just mark it for you so you have a right where the green star is, if you see it there. We can begin anytime.
Yeah, I see it. V'yesh Omrim, and there is another opinion. Af hat tzavas asui ze yesh omrim. Pincers of pincers. That they make them pincers that make pincers.
Well, tongs is better.
What?
Tongs is better than pincers.
Tongs, pincers.
Yeah.
Same.
Could be pliers also. Maybe pliers.
Well, the point is, it's whatever you use to lift the thing up from the anvil.
Right, from the fire. The problem is having it in the fire.
Right.
Obviously, you can't hold it while it's in the fire.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So maybe it could be gloves.
Could no. It's not a good idea.
So it's going to discuss this opinion. Lo machmas Kabbalah Amar Khan Ella Raya Natan Lidevarav.
Right, very good.
So there is no commentary or transmission.
Yeah, the Kabbalah meaning there's no Masorah, there's no transmission. He didn't get this from his Rebbe, who got it from his Rebbe, who got it from his Rebbe. Right. This was something through logic and bringing a proof for it. That's why it was included in this list according to this particular opinion.
Right. So there's no Kabbalah that these pincers were made benishmas os. Rather, we have a proof that is brought about this matter. Behu sheha nafach eino yachol lasos melachto ella bit tavas vehem ha mil kachim hamal kachim. There is a blacksmith. I'm sorry, a blacksmith is not able to make to do his work except with pincers, and they are a set. Targum u malkachia. And they translate it as a set.
I think now I'm kind of reevaluating my my understanding of this word. Hamalachim. Hamalachim. I think it's the word to take is lekach. right? Lekach is a form of taking, or I wouldn't say holding something, but it's the thing which you take it with, right? So Hem Hamalachim, meaning it's Savas, those are the things Hamalachim, those are the things which that take it in this particular context out of from the fire.
Okay, so it's a grabber.
Yeah, sort of like a grabber. Good, good, very nice.
So these pincers, they're grabbers. And what is this Targum Hamalakim? That you translate it as a grabber?
Right. The Tzavas, when the Targum translates it, it's called a Malachim, which is it's like, as you say, is a grabber.
Okay. Vitvas ha and it's a component. Vitvas
I think that's the quote from the Pasuk. Did we look it up in Shmos Chaf Hey?
Oh, no, I don't think we did. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's take a look. I'd like to see the context of the Pasuk here.
Okay, so it's Chaf Hey Lamed Chet. Okay, it says its tongues and its scoops shall be of pure gold.
That's
So
for the menorah. That's for the menorah.
Yeah, that's the menorah. So the Hebrew is malkacheha. That's translated as tongues. Umach to seha is scoops. Zahav tahor, pure gold. So it's just this word. I don't see the word tzavas ha.
Right.
It's pasuk.
Right. It's the malakecha. That's the malakecha. That's the Lashon Hebrew. Right. Very good.
Okay.
Okay.
So ve'im kain hatzavas lo na'asis ella b'tzavas. So therefore, a tongue cannot be made without a tongue. V'osa
right.
tzavas. And this tongue, b'tzavas acheres, and this tongue with another tongue. V'harishona mi asai, and the first one, who made it? Rhetorical question.
Right.
Bivadai male naasis b'yidei shemayim. Certainly, it was made by the hand of heaven.
Right. So that's an assertion. That's right. The proof. He's trying to bring big, but because it's impossible, so it must be B'nai Shemayim. But he's trying to bring a raya, a proof that has to be.
Right. V'efshar b'sheshes yemei bereshis, and it's impossible that it was in the 6 days of creation. Shelo nazkir ba beria, that it's not mentioned in the creation. V'achar sheshes yemei bereshis efshar, and after the 6 days, it's impossible. Im kain, therefore, berua haisa b'yedei shemayim. Therefore, its creation was from heaven, bena hashmashos, during twilight. So there's a principle here that everything that was created in 6 days is mentioned, except those things that were created bena hashmashos.
Yeah, that seems to be his underlying assertion throughout all these things he's mentioned. He's usually mentioned that point consistently.
Right. V'chein amru b'perek makom shenehagu psachim, and thus it is written. Thus it is stated in the book of makom shenagu in the Masechta Pesachim. Rabbi Yehuda Omer af hatzavas. Rabbi Yehuda says even the pincer, the tongues, hu haya Omer, he would say tzavas b'tzavasa mas avda misavda. He would say that the pincers of the pincer are the tongues of the tongues, mis avada. What's mis avada?
That's past tense of having been made. They had been made. Mis avda, they had been made.
Okay, so he would say that the tongues of the tongues were made. Tzavasa kemaisa man avda ha biyadei shemayim he. Okay, so the tongues, the original tongues, who made them?
Right.
It was the hand of heaven.
Right. Since you need tongues to make tongues, so who made the original ones? It must have been made through divine intervention.
Right.
I don't even know why it's a question.
Excuse me?
I don't even know why it is a question.
Explain a little bit more. What do you mean, Roy?
Well, if they're there and no, obviously Hashem made them. Obviously Hashem made the first lot. He created the first of everything. Little tongues.
Well, I mean, let's say the wheel, right? The wheel. So,
Okay.
obviously, ultimately, everything's coming from the Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? That, as a matter of fact, I was thinking maybe we're about to finish this particular document. I was thinking maybe to learn a portion of the Sefer Chavos Halavavos in his Pierke Prokim on the Tokun. He goes into these details. Without question, everything that occurs in the existence is always emanating from a Kadosh Baruch Hu ultimately. But as the expression is used, there are various different processes and powers and intermediaries that HaKadosh Baruch Hu uses to have things come into the world and to occur, right? So, for example, let's take the wheel. So, through the intermediary of human intelligence, right? And as they say, the necessity is the mother of invention, right? So let's say necessity is the mother of invention, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the father of everything, right? That's clear. That's clear. But even with human intelligence, if a person would possibly intelligently design the tongues, right, it would be apparently industrially impossible for him to make it without having some type of a device to hold them and to fashion them in the fire. So therefore, it's being said that these tongues were obviously created at the time of Ben Ishmashis Min Shamayim. That's a fair explanation.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. She'im ein lecha kabbalah ella mizos haraya. That you do not have a transmission.
Wait, she'im lecha. If you don't have a transmission of Masorah,
If you don't have a transmission, rather from this proof.
Rather, the only thing is the only reason you have an ability to say such a thing is because of the proof, right?
Okay, so rather there's only a proof. Ein zos haraya mi karas. There, but this proof is not strong.
Muchras. It's not a right, a definitive proof, right? Strong proof.
Al kain amru lo efshar yasna bidafum.
Could you lift up the page, please, Rabbi? Thank you.
Efshar, right? Because why? Why? He's now explaining Al-Kina Amrlo. There's a possibility to say to you, meaning if that was your proof that there's no way that it could have been possibly made. So I can give you, I can tell you there is a possible way to make it. How is that?
Bidafum, I don't know.
That's a diffus, a mold. You can make a mold.
A mold.
The fus is a mold, right? A mold. You can make a mold, right? And then all you have to do is pour the somehow get the metal to be formed into a mold.
But that's the problem. You can't manipulate the metal without the tongue.
Yeah, well, hold on. Let's see what else he says. Hold on.
With the mold, you don't need to.
What?
With a mold, you don't need to manipulate the metal.
How
are you going
to pour the metal into the mold?
You've got handles, long handles on the bucket, or the special bucket that they have that won't melt.
They had some kind of a vessel to put the I guess we're talking about iron, right? Must be talking about iron Um, so they put the iron and they got it, put it into the smelting smelting vessel, and then they could probably pick it up and with that, with maybe with having gloves, or as you said, Roy, with the long handle head on it, right?
It's only a small bucket to make one pair of tongs.
Yeah,
Time.
yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not. You don't need to have a lot. And I mean, again, how they would get? I guess they had a way to furnace the fire that would be hot enough to burn to melt the iron. I don't know when iron begins to melt, but
A bigger question is how on the earth they thought of it in the first place. And I got the idea to do it that way, and so on.
yeah,
All the infrastructure around the concept.
right. People have always been enthralled with and enchanted with trying to make life easier, right, Roy?
I mean, there's always a question by me with who on the earth got the idea to bake bread or cake or different things like that, or to make a hammer, to use a hammer, fashion hammers. Who thought of all those things?
Yeah,
Everything, all those sort of different hinges or whatever. Someone had to do it first.
right, exactly. You think about anything.
Yeah.
How about
Unbelievable ingenuity.
Must be, Hashem's trips, their inventiveness.
Yeah, I mean,
Idea.
we see that's when we make Havdalah on Motzi Shabbos, right? We make the bracha B'rei Moreya Eish, right?
Mhm.
So it's explained why specifically are making a bracha about Eish on Motzi Shabbos. It's not because we were not able to light fires on Shabbos or use fires on Shabbos. That's not the reason. The reason is because Adam Rishon discovered fire on Motzi Shabbos. First Motzi Shabbos, he discovered that he could um, uh, strike two stones together, and a little spark will emit. And if it goes into a piece of wool or cotton, it'll ignite. So that was probably the first invention of mankind, right there. So that's a commemoration of our discovery of fire. It took place on Motzi Shabbos. That's why on Yom Tov, until we don't have we don't take a candle in Havdalah. Not because on Yom Tov we can use fire. We can use fire on Yom Tov, but that's not the reason. The reason is that there's no commemoration of discovery of fire by Adam Rishon on Motzi Yom Tov. It's only on Motzi Shabbos. Okay, so he's explaining. Efshi Yaseb the Furst. It could have been made through a mold, and and I think then it could be. I'm not sure what the word yikve'ena.
Okay, so maybe it means and form it.
Could be. Yeah, to be kovea means to have it, maybe to be fixed, or maybe to have it merge. I'm not sure. We're made in some type of a mold. Okay. Yasab the first savas.
Making with a mold, a tongue. Vayis e ku habarzel. Vayisi ku is pouring.
I think Yisiku habarza ba'ur, and it should be melted, the iron in the fire.
Or is fire in this case?
Yeah, or is fire, correct.
Biyatziku oso bitoch hadefus v'taaseh hatzavas miyad. And v'yitziku is he pours it,
Yeah, exactly.
and he pours it into the mold, and he makes the tongue with his hand.
Yeah, I think immediately, it automatically forms a savas.
Immediately. Okay, so that's what we just said.
Uh,
The Gemara,
Right, and the force, I'm not sure. I'm not really industrially experienced, but I'm not even sure if the diffus has to be made of metal. Sometimes you could make the. I think even they could make it out of sand. Just make a diffus in sand, and that's enough for the mold.
Clay.
Clay.
I'm sorry, I've got to go. I forgot. I've got a medical appointment.
Roy.
Yeah, I've got this cough all the time. Okay, so most of us see you tomorrow.
Okay, hope to see you tomorrow. It's like a foolish lemon.
Amen. Thank you.
Right.
What did you tell Rabbi? What's his name?
Rabbi Furst.
No,
Number 11.
Rabbi Levin.
Oh, you want me to tell Rabbi Levin that you're at the doctor?
Yeah, I'll be very late if I. I'll be very late. Okay.
No problem.
Right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so in the Gemara, Perek Makom Shenahagu in Psachim Yesh Mosifin Be'elu Sheniv Ra'u Bein Hashmash Os Ha'or Vaha Perid.
Period, right.
Okay, so it in the Gemara, there is what is this word mosifin?
From just like they add on, meaning Musaf, like the Tfilas Musaf is the additional service, right?
Right.
So the Mosifim they add on
With these creations during Twilight, fire and I don't know what Perid is.
Paired is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's a mule.
Mule.
Yeah, a mule. I think a mule is a cross between a donkey and a horse. No.
Right. I believe so. Yeah. Okay. So in Psachim, they add on to these, meaning these 10.
Yes.
That were created during Twilight, fire and the mule. V'yesh omrim ki b'motzei Shabbos nivra'u. And there are those who say they were created Motzei Shabbos, after Shabbos. V'yesh omrim ki parad b'yemei ana nivra. And there are those who say that in the days, I don't know what parad is, and I don't know what ana is.
No, it said Yeshomrim b'motzi Shabbos nivru. That means, I think that's a reference to fire, to ore. There are those who say that on Motzi Shabbos, I mean, it's a machlokas. In the Gemara, some say in the Gemara over there that these things, or fire and the pair of the mule, were made on Bein Shmoshes. Yeshomrim b'motzi Shabbos nivru, and some say that they were made on Motzi Shabbos. Yeshomrim, there are others say ki pered. Maybe Anna Nipra. The Anna was a descendant of Esau, and says there, I think Rashi mentions that he started crossbreeding horses and donkeys.
Oh, okay. So there's nothing miraculous about it.
No, I mean, if you look at the, if it's biologically, genetically possible to crossbreed a horse and a donkey, so it's really not a miraculous thing which has to be. The question is, right? Question is, as then this is probably why it's probably worth seeing the Chavos Halavavos. If we can do that tomorrow, try and send it out. That there are things in the world that have been created since Ma'aser Bereishis, right? So the mule didn't exist before Ma'aser Bereishis, but it could be that since all the potentials for the mule to exist were really there from the time of Bereishis, meaning if the biologics are so similar between the donkey and the horse that they can mate and have a offspring, which is a mule, right? So it's nothing really new. It's all there. And it wasn't created specifically, but the potential, all the building blocks, all the necessities of its creation were there already. Right? Fire also, meaning fire. You have everything in the universe already there available for the creation of fire. So it's not, even though fire maybe wasn't something which was specifically created during the process of creation, but all the components of what takes to make fire were actually already there.
Right.
Therefore,
Maybe according to those who say that the mule was created Bein Hashmashos, they're talking about the genetics. In other words, who says that they can mate and have an offspring? Who says that the sperm and the egg are going to have enough compatibility that they'll grow? Maybe that's the miracle that was created Bein Hashmashos.
Yeah, right. Could be. in terms of that could be. That's true enough. Yeah.
Okay, so also in Psachim, they added Me'ara she'amdu ba Moshe,
Right.
the Eliyahu, and they add what is this Me'arva from the evening?
No, Ma'ara is like the cave. Ma'ara is a cave.
Cave. From the cave.
Yeah, you've heard the expression Ma'ara Samach Pela.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the cave, because it's a cave where they are. Yeah.
so Moshe and Eliyahu stood up from the cave.
They were in cave. They were in these two. I think they're two separate caves. They were in caves for a certain amount of time. So I believe that why that had to be a special creation, I don't know. Could be because it's really apparently nothing any really special about it. That could be why it's only some. I mean, not everyone agrees to this. It's only one particular opinion.
Umakablu shel Aharon.
The maklo, the staff of Aaron.
Oh, and the staff of Aaron, shekedi, ufarhi. I don't know. Shekedi.
That it. Remember, if you remember, there's this in Parshas Beshalach. Parshas Beshalach. It was Aaron's staff was placed in the Aaron in the Kodesh in there, and it grew skating and prachim.
Prache. So the staff of Aaron, that from it grew flowers.
Right. Shkedia are almonds and flowers, right?
Almonds and flowers. The Yesh Omrim Af Big Day Adam Harishon. And there are those who say even the clothing of Adam Harishon, Haim Hakitanos. They are written.
Haim no, that's their name. No, this is a different word. Hakasonos.
That's the name of the clothing?
Right. Hakasonos. That's the name of the clothing, correct.
Those are the fig leaves?
No. I'm not sure if the fig leaves. That's something else. That's before Kodesh Baruch Hu gave them clothes. Kodesh Baruch Hu later on gave them clothes.
Oh, right. I remember at the end of the story it says Hashem gave them clothes.
Right.
Zeh nivra nir'eh li perush zos ha Mishnah.
Right.
This seems to me to be the explanation of the Mishnah.
Right. Okay. That's right. You're just basically signing off. Okay. Very good.
So do we come to any conclusion from all of this?
Well, yes, plenty. Well, a lot of conclusions. What would you like to know about?
Why are we talking about this? Why were things created Benish Mashos, and why do I care?
Right. So I think in the beginning he explained that the necessity of Benish Mashos was that there were certain things that had to be created that had a certain element of kedusha, of a certain holiness and exclusive uniqueness, and also a certain sense of holiness, of miraculousness to them, right? Which would set them apart from those things which were created during the first 6 days, which are purely mundane. These things are not purely mundane. They have an element of miracle to them, a miracle of kedusha to them. So you needed an association to Shabbos in terms of getting close to Shabbos, Benish Mashos, when it's already, yes, Shabbos is entering to some extent already.
Okay. So what do I do with this knowledge? Now that I know that the mouth of the donkey was one of these things, how does that impact my understanding of the world or of the story or whatever? What difference does it make?
Oh, it makes a big difference. By understanding that the Kadosh Baruch Hu took special interest to create these things for specific uses at specific times, you see that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is building into the whole fabric of the universe, of the whole fabric of existence. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is building into it the necessary things which are required to bring history to the conclusions and to the directions that he wants. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is directing history. If, for example, history would have been drastically different if Korach had succeeded in his rebellion, right? It'd be in a whole different world now, right?
Right.
And so Kadosh Baruch Hu, I mean, this is a lesson to us that Kadosh Baruch Hu cares, you know, the whole corrupt philosophy that first of all, even if you believe that a Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world, but unfortunately, mistakenly, many people believe that okay, creation, yes, but in terms of being involved with the creation after it was created, no. You see, that's false. That's complete sheker. Right. This is one of the biggest proofs, I would say, to prove that Kadosh Baruch Hu is completely involved with the running and the management and supervision and maintenance of the world continually, and as a deep and absolute interest in humanity and the history of humanity, especially the history of the Jews.
Okay, let me argue the opposite. Because Hashem was going to go on vacation after he finished the creation, and leave everything run by itself, he had to set up these special things so that he wouldn't have to intervene when they were needed.
No, I mean, you're right. Hashem doesn't want to intervene, right? Hashem doesn't want to intervene directly. I mean, only in specific times Hashem actually intervened directly. For example, the time of Yetzias Mitzrayim, the time of Matan Torah, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu always wants to leave things. He wants to. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to be in the background because we have to have bechira. Right? Hashem wants us to have bechira, that we believe in Him and that He is maintaining and running the world, even though it appears not that way.
But don't we believe that Hashem, that the principle of Hashgacha Pratis says that Hashem is in fact constantly intervening?
Yeah, exactly. He is, but not always in an open way.
Right. But I mean, let me ask.
If a Kadosh Baruch Hu was openly involved with the running of the existence, then it wouldn't be something which was wouldn't be something which is a belief. It's just a fact, right? You don't have to believe in the rain being wet. You understand that as a fact, right? See, our job is to make belief reality. Usually, belief is simply belief. People have beliefs. They believe in this. They believe that they believe there's life on Mars, right? But there's no reality to that, right? There's no reality to the fact that there's life on Mars. They believe in it, right? But until they discover it, it's not a reality.
Right.
So when we say we believe in Hashgacha Pratis, right? So even though we don't have any proofs of that, right? I mean, although there are, I mean, let's not go into the proofs exactly, but there are proofs for it. But even though there's no, let's say, direct evidence for that, so therefore it's really in the realm of belief. But our job is to make our beliefs reality. We become so firm in our beliefs that it's not a question. It's without a doubt. It's without a doubt. Anyway, we can discuss this more if you want.
Let me just
Probably-
ask quickly one more question, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, sure.
I'll let you go. There's two ways to explain the donkey speaking. One is that the mouth of the donkey was created by Neshmashos. And the other is that Hashem did a miracle at the time. So what difference does it make between those two explanations? We know that Hashem did not do a miracle at the time. That rather the mouth was created. Okay, so what practical difference is there? Would there be if instead we said that it was a miracle at the time?
See, that's also part of what the Mishnah is teaching us, right? The Mishnah is teaching us that these things were actually not miracles created at the time, right? They're actually miracles which were created and put into and on reserve to be used at a later time. So the difference is that knowing that these things were created previously, right? I mean, that's let me put your question in a bit of a different context. Moshe Rabbeinu knew the whole of the Torah, right?
Right.
So he knew this Mishnah in Pierke Avos.
Right.
So he knew this Mishnah in Pierke Avos, right? So the Mishnah in Avos, as we learned, that the ground's mouth that swallowed Korach, Moshe Rabbeinu obviously knew that was a creation, right?
Right.
So how come Moshe Rabbeinu had to pray for Kadosh Baruch Hu that Hashem destroy Korach in a strange and unusual way? Because see, the Mishnah never said it. The Mishnah just said the Pe'aretz, right? Just said the Pe'aretz, right? Didn't say it was the one that would swallow Korach. It could have been if let's say if Korach decided he had free will. We have to believe that Korach had free will not to rebel against Moshe Rabbeinu, or he could have backed down. Let's say he backed down, said Moshe Rabbeinu, I think I thought about it. You're right. I'm wrong, and you're right. So then he wouldn't have been destroyed. It wouldn't have been swallowed up. So now, what would that Pe'aretz have been used for? So, since the Mishnah doesn't say it was actually the mouth of the earth that swallowed up Korach, that Kadosh Baruch Hu could have used that for something else.
Right.
So the knowledge that we're gaining from this Mishnah is that Kadosh Baruch Hu creates these things, and his desire not to use miracles, if at all possible, right, is borne out by this Mishnah. This Mishnah is a testimony to the fact that Kadosh Baruch Hu prefers not to do miracles, because that would destroy people's free will.
Right.
So if people would look back and see these things, and know that they were created previously, so they understand that a Kadosh Baruch Hu, you also see from this Mishnah, another thing you see from this Mishnah, Kadosh Baruch Hu is beyond time. You have a proof from this Mishnah that Kadosh Baruch Hu is beyond time, because he's creating things which are not going to be necessary for thousands of years forwards.
Okay, maybe we should stop now, like you said, because it is getting late, but I'm not very comfortable with my understanding of this. Maybe
Okay,
we
good.
can talk tomorrow a little bit about
Yeah,
it.
okay, no problem, no problem. Think it over and clarify your questions, and we'll see if we can answer them. No problem.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rabbi.
Good, so let's take a little break. We'll start